He looked out at the world through the clear glass window pane, and he knew that his life was just as fragile as this window. He'd tell you that he had a hard path to follow, but he's uncomfortable with the word path because he just goes where the wind blows. And what he did know was that he didn't know much at all, and after all the thinking he did, it couldn't prevent him from falling. And in his mind, he couldn't distinguish between guidance and oppression, or an intruder trying to press in, or clinically diagnosed depression. So the lack of concern for him transferred to the cutting and burning of himself and hurt his already damaged mental health. In his mind, he couldn't distinguish if he was in heaven or hell. He couldn't see much out of the cell of his own creation. He was his own mental patient. So he fell and he fell until he found his way to the cross. And as he got closer and closer, he pitied his family for their loss, because this was the answer. It was okay that he couldn't make sense of things. He's got years to figure it all out to get his halo and his angel wings. So he broadened his horizons as he opened his eyes, and he bought what they sold him and fought the material lies, and he never neglected his spirituality. As he grew, he lost touch with the reality, so it became harder and harder to see the oppression so apparent to an individual of the world inherent of independence. So after reading the Holy Bible for a religious education, after being humble and respectful, never questioning regulation, after preaching the virtues of being honest and being patient, after a few compromises now, he could have an eternal salvation. It didn't sound so bad until you look a little deeper into his heart, the start of his struggle. And since he got here, the descent has only gotten steeper, and he escaped the world just to find himself in his own bubble. In fact, it wasn't even his own bubble, it was one of theirs that they put him in. And it was the way that they suppressed his mind that limited everything he could have been. It was here that he was supposed to find himself, have some fun, and learn to know his soul, and find some genuine help, and become one part of a greater whole. Instead, for years, they said every facet of his being was filled with demons, disagreeing with everything that was in his head. And when they said always use your head but never rely on your own understanding, that was the last straw. He surrendered to the depths of the psyche, spanning the emptiness left where the institution held him in enslavement. And he gave in to everything internal and made way for it to lay the pavement. And he was free. Wait. He was me. Thank you.